Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September 26th. The Mariners and Dodgers have won their divisions, and there's a lot to do this weekend. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? The regular season has not one, not two, but 3 days remaining, 3 games left, 159 games down, 3 games to go. How are we doing? There's lots to play for still. There's a lot at stake. We're going to get into all of that, talk about the week and more, but first, let's dive into our series recap. Nationals at Braves. Acuna goes deep in an 11-5 Braves slaughtering. Acuna would homer again, as well as Michael Harris II, who hit a 2-homer game in a 3-2 Braves win for their 10th straight win. But in the last game, James Wood, he gets a 2-homer game, his 29th and 30th on the season. First time he hit 30 home runs in the season. 4-3 Nationals, they avoid the sweep there. Rays and Oilers. Colton Cowser goes deep in a 6-0 Baltimore win. Brandon Lau and Jake Mangum go deep in a Rays 6-2 victory. And then the Oilers come back from down 3 to finish off their home series with Dylan Beavers hitting a walk-off home run as the O's come back and take 2 of 3, 6-5 Baltimore. Royals and Angels. The Royals, top 4 in the lineup, all get at least 1 RBI in an 8-4 Kansas City win. Taylor Ward homers in a 3-2 Angels win. And then the Angels, they out-homer the Royals 3-1, but Kansas City had the lead and scored 4 in the 9th to seal it for a 9-4 victory as the Royals take 2 of 3. Twins and Rangers. The Twins would score 4 unanswered to take a 4-1 victory. Josh Smith homers in Game 2 in a 4-2 Rangers win. And then Byron Buxton has a 2-homer game for all 4 runs that were scored in the game. 4-0 Minnesota. They take 2 of 3 from the Rangers. Marlins and Phillies. Heriberto Hernandez ties it in the 9th with a home run. We went into extras. Both teams score in the 10th. In the 11th, the Marlins score. The Phillies do not. The Marlins get a 6-5 win in a comeback fashion in extras in the 11th. In Game 2, Schwarber, a 2-homer game. Edmundo Sosa, a 3-homer game. Stott goes deep. Bohm goes deep. Otto Kemp goes deep. The Phillies hit 8 home runs, a new franchise record, 11-1 Phillies. And then Phillies score on a ground out in the first, and that's all the scoring in Game 3. 1-0 Philly. They take 2 of 3 from the Marlins. Astros and A's. The Astros needed a good series. They couldn't get one. They only scored once in the first game in a 5-1 win, and then didn't score at all in Game 2 as Langeliers and Soderstrom both hit home runs in a 6-0 A's win. But the Astros would avoid the sweep. They score 5 in the first 2 innings, only to add from there. And how about Nick Kurtz? Going to be the Rookie of the Year. He has a 2-homer game. Could he get 40 home runs? Probably not. He's at 35. 11-5 Astros. They avoid the sweep there. Rockies and Mariners. Josh Naylor, a bases clearing, go-ahead 3-run double. Late in this one, the Mariners take a 4-3 victory, and that punches their ticket into the postseason. In Game 2, Cal Raleigh, Julio, and Jorge Polanco all homer in the first, but Cal wasn't done there as the big dumper does it again, his 2nd homer in the game for his 60th home run of the season. And with that, the Mariners clinched the AL West for the first time since 2001. And then Eugenio Suarez would go deep, his 49th home run of the season in a 6-2 Mariners win as they sweep the Rockies. How good of a week can you have, Seattle? Cardinals and Giants. Ivan Herrera, a 2-run home run, starts a 4-run 5th for the comeback win for the Cardinals. 6-5 the final there. The Cardinals would come back from down 5 in Game 2. Herrera homers, Arenado homers, and they scored 2 runs in the 9th to tie and take the lead in a 9-8 Cardinals win. Devers goes deep. The Giants take the lead in the 8th on Andrew Kinsler's triple, and they avoid the sweep with a 4-3 win. Pirates and Reds now. The Pirates scored 4 runs in the second, and that's all they needed. O'Neal Cruz hits his 20th home run of the season. So Ellie De La Cruz hits his 21st home run of the season. But it's a 4-2 Pirates win. In Game 2, Marte gets an inside-the-park home run to get the Reds on the board. Tyler Stevenson, a game-tying home run in the 9th. The Reds have hope, but the Pirates would hold on. They score a run in the 11th in extras, a 4-3 Pirates win. The Reds, though, 2 runs in the 5th inning, and then Marte home run robbery catch in the 9th for the 26th out of this game. That would have turned things around. It's a 2-1 Reds win as they get to avoid the sweep, and the Pirates take 2 of 3 there. White Sox and Yankees. The Yankees do what they need to do. Down 1 in the 9th, they come back to tie, and then Jose Caballero walks it off with an RBI single, and that would punch the Yankees ticket to the postseason in a 3-2 victory. Judge gets a 2-homer game to get his 50th and 51st home runs of the year. Grisham goes deep. It's 8-1 Yankees. And down a couple runs, Stanton hits a go-ahead 3-run bases-clearing double for a 5-3 Yankees win. The Yankees do what they need to do and sweep the White Sox. Mets and Cubs. Lindor, a leadoff home run. The Cubs would come storming, but the Mets would come storming back from down 5. Nimmo, a game-tying home run. And then in the 8th, tied up at 7, Francisco Alvarez, a 2-run go-ahead home run. That's the difference in a big 9-7 Mets win. The Cubs would come and score 5 runs in the 3rd. Matt Shaw goes deep. Michael Busch goes deep. It's a 10-3 Cubs win. So in the run match, Lindor homers, Beatty homers, Seiya Suzuki, a 2-homer game for the Cubs. The Mets hold on, though, in 8-5 victory, and they take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. Brewers and Padres. Freddie Fermin with a walk-off single in the 11th in extras, and that punches the Padres ticket into the postseason, a 5-4 victory. They would follow that up with Ryan O'Hearn hitting a grand slam, Luis Arias a homer, Jose Iglesias a homer, 7-0 Padres. Danny Jansen homers in the last game, a 3-1 Brewers win to avoid the sweep as the Padres take 2 of 3. Dodgers and D-backs. The D-backs come back from down 4 with 5 straight runs, including 2 in the 9th as Perdomo hits the walk-off single. Diamondbacks with a 5-4 win in the opener. The D-backs would score 3 in the 8th to tie the game up in Game 2, but in extras, the Dodgers hold on. They score in the 11th and win it 5-4. And in the road match, it's all LA as Freeman gets a 2-homer game. Andy Pajes goes deep, Ohtani goes deep, and with that 8-0 victory, the Dodgers are once again winners of the NL West. Red Sox and Blue Jays. The Red Sox would break the 1-1 tie in the 6th with 3 runs as they take a 4-1 victory in the opener. Masataka Yoshida and Carlos Narvaez would both homer in Game 2 in a 7-1 Red Sox win, but the Blue Jays get the much-needed game and a much-needed swing from Dalton Varsho, who would break the tie with a huge grand slam for the Blue Jays. Springer, a 2-run homer for 6 runs in the 6th. From those two, it's a 6-1 Blue Jays victory to avoid the sweep. And lastly, Tigers and Guardians battling for the AL Central. One team's hot and one team's not, and it shows in the first 2 games. The Guardians take the lead with a 3-run 6th, and they'll add some insurance in the 7th. 2 runs come in, and it goes from 2-0 Tigers to 5-2 Guardians. That was the final in Game 1. George Valera would go deep for the Guardians. Jose Ramirez, a 2-run double, turns a 3-1 lead into a 5-1 lead as they breaks it open. And the Tigers have lost 8 straight, and their division is gone. But they'll get the win in Game 3. Jemiah Jones homers and Wencel Perez both go deep in the first inning. Riley Green would homer later on in a 4-2 Tigers win. They get a much-needed win and have a big series to close off the season. That's your series recap. All right, game of the week. We're going to Arizona for Game 1 between the Dodgers and the D-backs. Top second, Teoscar Hernandez, a solo shot home run got the party started. His 25th of the season, 1-0 LA. Top six, it's Hernandez again, not a home run, but a 2-run triple, his first triple of the season. It's 3-0 LA. Top seventh, how about Ben Rothveld hitting his first home run of the season, and what a time for it, 4-0 LA. They're feeling good. Bottom seven, here come the D-backs a little bit. James McCann, an RBI double, gets the Snakes on the board. And then Adrian Del Castillo hits his fourth home run of the season, a 2-run shot, and it's a 1-run game. We go to the bottom of the ninth. In comes Tanner Scott looking for the save. Jorge Barsosa, the sac fly, drives in a run. It's 4-4. The inning continues. And then Geraldo Perdomo gets the RBI single. That scores Tim Tawa. And the Diamondbacks win it 5-4. They come back. Tanner Scott's 10th blown save of the season. A 5-4 D-backs win. And that's your game of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk the baseball news because there is a lot to go over, starting off with the fact that the Yankees, Mariners, and Padres all punched their tickets into the postseason, and the Mariners did one better because not only did they get their ticket to the postseason, but they also clinched the AL West division, as well as the Dodgers clinching the NL West divisions. The Padres are done. The Astros are done battling for those divisions. For the Dodgers, it's their 12th division win in the last 13 years. The only time they didn't do it was in 2021 where the Giants beat them out by, I think, a game or two. It was a 107 win season to like a 105 or 6. That was a crazy year for these teams. But that was the only year in the last 13 years that the Dodgers have not won the NL West. It goes through LA. For the Mariners, on the other hand, outside of the COVID year in 2020 where the A's won it, the Astros had won it since, I believe, 2016. But for Seattle, it had been quite some time, going back way in 2001 was the last time the Mariners clinched the AL West. So I'm sure they partied hard on Wednesday where they clinched the division, they clinched the postseason, and right now they're second in the AL seeding with a chance to be the 1 seed and the top team in the AL, but there's still a lot to go from there. So those are all the clinches that happened this past week. In terms of the eliminations, we had a nice big list here. The Royals and Rangers from the AL side, both of them officially done. And then from the NL side, it was fun stories. Cardinals, Giants, Marlins, the 3 of them have been eliminated. So that's 5 teams that were eliminated from the postseason contention over the past week. And good for them. Good for that overall. So with those eliminations, with the clinches that we've had so far, we are now up to 8 teams who have clinched their spots into the postseason. That's 4 seeds left to go. 3 on the AL, 1 on the NL, and that means there are still 3 teams that need to be eliminated. So we have 7 teams fighting for 4 spots as a whole, overall, etc. So that's just kind of the things to know here. Something that's fun to know now is that we already have our first wildcard matchup. That is a guaranteed lock no matter what this weekend does. These 2 teams will face off next Tuesday to start the wildcard series, and it is the Chicago Cubs versus the San Diego Padres. This is a really fun first series. It's one that we kind of expected and knew about from a while ago. It just kind of felt like it was going to be these 2 teams. You just felt the Cubs couldn't catch the Brewers. The Padres kept kind of blowing these games against some of the easier opponents. And it's the Dodgers. So, I mean, you kind of just saw it coming towards the end here. These 2 teams will face off in the wild card round. The only thing that needs to be decided is who will host this series. The Cubs currently set at 89-70. The Padres 87-72. So the Cubs' magic number for the home field advantage in this series is 2. So they need either 2 wins, 2 Padre losses, or 1 win, 1 Padres loss, This could clinch as early as today. If the Cubs win their game and the Padres lose their game, that would decide it. The Cubs will host the Padres in this wild card series round. So the Padres have some work to do between these two teams in order to get that series. The Padres do not have the tiebreaker, but neither do the Cubs. It's a TBD in their tiebreaker. Their season series is 3-3, so it would go down to divisional. So if there was a tiebreaker, not sure who would get it as it stands, but we'd have to see from that point on. But we do know that those two teams will face off, and that's a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, home run history. I mean, we've had a lot of it, but it happens again this week. Cal Raleigh, his 60th home run of the season, the first time a non-Yankee team in the AL has had 60-plus home runs. Judge, obviously, Roger Maris, and Mickey Mantle make room for Cal motherfucking Raleigh. Judge, not Mickey Mantle. Anyways, Judge hits his 50th home run of the season, and 2025 becomes the third season in MLB history that 4 players have all hit 50-plus home runs. Of course, Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge alongside Kyle Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani. There has never been 5 players who have hit 50-plus home runs. And in case you check, Eugenio Suarez from the Seattle Mariners, he is at 49 currently. So if he can get 1 home run in this 3 games left, this would be the first time that 5 players would have 50-plus home runs, and would be really cool. So let's go for that. Let's see Suarez hit that home run this week. Let him do it against the Dodgers. We got official news from MLB saying that ABS, the automatic balls and strikes system, is officially coming to MLB in 2026. That is something that was talked about for a long time, since spring training when they tried it out. They used it in the All-Star break. And so it's going to be coming to baseball next year. The way it works, each team will get 2 ABS challenges. They can only be called by the pitcher, catcher, or hitter, with no help from any of the other outfielders or infielders, as well as anyone from the dugout. It has to be something that just those 3 who are in, the battles of every pitch, those are the only ones that can call it. They will do so by tapping either their helmet or hat, depending on defender or hitter. And then it will check, it will see if it is a ball or a strike. The right call will be made. If the wrong call is made, so if the umpire calls a strike, batter doesn't like it, they tap their helmet, it is a strike, they would lose one of their challenges. Again, you only get 2. If it was incorrect, and let's say it was a ball, the hitter and the team retains their challenge. So you could use this every pitch if you really wanted to, but it would, take away, if you win it, it doesn't matter, but if you lose it, then that's when you lose it. I'm very excited to see what teams will do for this strategy. Will you only let your top hitters use it? Do you have to be 1,000% confident? Like, how are you going to do it? Are you only going to be using it in the last 3 innings? It'll be very interesting to see how teams will use this ABS system, and I'm very excited to see all the stats and numbers that come out of it. You'll have a team who is using it 5 times a week, but is 5 for 5, and then you'll have a team who's using it like 10 times a game and is like 90 for 120, let's say. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see how some of these teams decide to use the ABS system. I know players, both hitters and pitchers, are kind of mixed on it. Some think part of the human element is part of the game, but we've had some pretty outrageous calls over the last couple of years, and it seems like it only gets worse and worse. So I think it is important to have a way to get the correct calls, because we have all this technology and it's in so many different sports and so many different games. Why not use it to actually get some correct calls here? Last thing to go over here is some seeding that is still up for grabs. So with the last weekend series, there's still a couple things at stake. So the AL East, the AL Central, as well as the last wild card spots in the AL. On the NL, we still have to see who is going to be the best team in baseball there, as well as who will get home field advantage in the Cubs-Padres series, as well as which of the 3 teams will make it into the postseason. So In the AL, the first seed can be won by the Blue Jays, Yankees, or Mariners, and then the same for the second seed. So one of those seeds will definitely go to the Mariners. The other seed would go to either the Blue Jays or Yankees, whoever wins that division. Whoever loses division would guarantee the 4 spot and home field advantage. So either way, as it stands right now, both Toronto and the New York Yankees will host a playoff game, whether it's the wild card or divisional round. That is set in stone. The third seed will go to either the Guardians or Tigers, whoever win that. Of course, they're tied entering today, as well as the Blue Jays and Yankees. Both those enter today. Blue Jays, the tiebreaker over the Yankees. Guardians, the tiebreaker over the Tigers. So the Guardians with the advantage there to get the 3 seed. And then the 5 and 6 seeds can be either won by the Red Sox, Astros, Tigers, or Guardians. All 4 of those teams could get either of those seeds. So, of course, the loser of the Guardians-Tigers division, that other team would get a chance to the 5 and 6. And then one of those teams, of course, will not make it. So will it be Boston, will it be Houston, or will it be Tigers/Guardians? One of those 3 teams would not make the postseason. There is that 7th seed up for grabs, and that, of course, means that your season ends on Sunday. Houston Astros right now, the team on the outside looking in, and they have a lot of work to do, so we'll see how that stands up. On the NL side, the Brewers or Phillies, one team will get the 1 seed, the other team will get the 2 seed. Either way, both these teams have clinches for the wild card round. They are heading to the division series to start their postseason next Saturday, October 4th. That's when the AL and NLDS matchups get underway. The Dodgers are guaranteed the 3 seed. There is no more moving there. They are the first and only team so far to actually lock up their specific seed for the postseason. The Cubs and Padres, of course, have the 4th and 5 seeds. One of these will be the home field advantage and will host the other team in the wild card round. The question is who? It favors the Cubs right now. And then the 6th seed is up for grabs. Will it be the Mets? Will it be the Reds? Or will it be the D-backs? The Mets are currently holding the 6th seed. The Reds a game back of them. The Diamondbacks 2 games back of them. So some work for Arizona. Cincinnati, of course, with the tiebreakers over both teams. The Mets have no tiebreakers over either team. So that is the race there. And those are all the seedings that are up for grabs. The AL, who's going to miss out? Red Sox, Astros. The Astros are out of a postseason spot for the first time since May 25th. So there is work to do there. Let's continue on here. Get over our injury updates. Jose Barrios from the Blue Jays, 15-day IL with elbow inflammation. The first time in his career that he lands on the IL, not the time for it. Derek Fry was hit by a pitch, or he fouled off a pitch off of his bat into his face from Tarek Skubal against the Tigers in, I believe, Game 1 of this series. He lands on the 10-day IL, nasal and facial fractures. I'm pretty sure he is done for 2025, even if Cleveland gets postseason. Wyatt Langford, 10-day IL with a strained oblique. Ozzie Albies, 10-day IL, fractured left hand. Ty France, 10-day IL, strained oblique. Mackenzie Gore, 15-day IL with ankle impingement. Kirby Yates from the Dodgers, 15-day IL with strained hamstring. And then the big news here, Ramon Laureano from the San Diego Padres. He will not be available for the NL wildcard round. He's got a fractured finger, and after that round, he'll be day-to-day questionable if he will make the divisional roster or not, if the Padres make it that far or not. But those are your injury updates. And we'll take a look now at the outstanding performances from the week here. Gavin Williams against the Tigers. Great stuff. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts had their numbers. Shohei Ohtani, 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 Ks. He's been great on the mound recently. Paul Skeens, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 Ks. Max Fried, 7 innings, 4 hits, a run, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Christopher Sanchez, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. Randy Vasquez, 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. Garrett Crochet, 8 innings of work, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. Luis Castillo, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, 10 strikeouts. That was the game. The Mariners clinched the West. Framber Valdez, last but not least, 7 innings, 7 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Valdez needed a start like this, and so did Houston, as they are struggling and need to get into the postseason. The stat leaderboard. Pretty much the last one of the season. Aaron Judge leads an average, 330. Bo still leading in hits, but that should change after this weekend. He's got 181, has had that for a while because he's been hurt, and no one's caught up to him. Cal Raleigh with home runs, 60. Can he get to 62 to tie Judge, or even better, 63 to take his record? Kyle Schwarber in RBIs, 132. Ohtani in runs, 144. Can he score 6 runs this weekend and get to 150? Soto in walks, 124. Jose Caballero at stolen bases at 48. Can he get to 50 with 2? Aaron Judge, OPS 1.140. For pitchers, Max Fried leads in wins at 19, and I think he's going to hold that to the end. Paul Skeens was able to lower his ERA to 1.97, a sub-2 ERA. He's easily going to win the NL Cy Young Award. Garrett Crochet leads in strikeouts, 255, and then Carlos Estevez still leading in saves with 41 big ones from the Kansas City Royals. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last series of the season. And who is facing each other? The White Sox will face off the Nationals. Pirates will face off the Braves. Royals at A's. Rockies at Giants. So those 4 series have no playoff implications whatsoever. Nobody cares. Dodgers at Mariners. Of course, the Mariners fighting for the 1 seed or 2 seed. Dodgers have the 3 seed there, so nothing else matters there. Oilers at Yankees. The Yankees, of course, trying to get the AL East division from the Blue Jays, who host the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays at Blue Jays. So that is the series there. One of these teams will get either the 1 or 2 seed, depending on the Mariners, and the other one would get the 4 seed. So that's what's at stake there. Cardinals at Cubs. Then the Cubs are fighting for the 4th seed and home field advantage against the Padres. Twins at Phillies, and then Reds at Brewers are next. The Phillies and Brewers, their host, who gets the 1 seed, who gets the 2 seed. Odds are the Brewers will get the 1 seed, Phillies will get the 2 seed, but that's the battle there. D-backs at Padres. D-backs trying to get into that last wild card. Padres trying to get home field advantage for the wild card series, so big stuff there. Marlins at Mets. The Mets trying to get the 6th and final seed into the postseason. They hold their destiny. They can win and in. Astros at Angels. The Astros have some work to do. They're going to need some big wins and get lucky as the Rangers take on the Guardians. The Guardians, a chance to clinch potentially a division, the craziest division blow ever, and, get a postseason spot. Meanwhile, the Tigers and Red Sox will face each other as well. This is kind of the big series. Tigers, of course, trying to get the division back and not blow that. Red Sox punching their tickets shortly here soon. So still a lot to play for. A big, big weekend. Let's take a look now at the magic numbers for the weekend here. What is to play for? What is at stake? When it comes to the AL, we have 3 seeds up for grab. The Red Sox magic number for a postseason is 1, which means they need to either win a game against the Tigers or have the Astros lose a game against the Angels. That's how it stands right now. Of course, if the Red Sox were to get swept by the Tigers would clinch their spot. The Astros would, get in probably as well if they sweep the Angels, and the Red Sox, who did not get in, would fall out. They'd be at 87 wins. They would need the Guardians to also lose out against the Rangers. So it's a good chance that Boston will clinch. It's just a matter of, how it will happen, when it will happen. This is as it stands as of today, entering Friday, entering the final weekend here. Red Sox magic number of 1. Tigers and Guardians, despite being tied for the division, which, would technically mean the magic number there is 3, and we'll talk about that. Both of their divisions are 2 to punch a ticket to the postseason. So for today, for Friday, if Cleveland beats the Rangers, if the Tigers beat the Red Sox, and the Astros lose against the Angels, if those 3 things happen, all of the Guardians, Red Sox, and Tigers will clinch postseason berths, and the Astros will be eliminated from the postseason. Their losing magic number is 2. So again, an Astros loss and a Tigers win would eliminate the Astros. Of course, Cleveland would then also need to lose as well. It's tough for the Astros because they have no tiebreakers over the teams that kind of matter for them when you think about it. They don't have it against the Guardians. They don't have it against the Red Sox. They don't have it against the Tigers. So they really need to win, and they really need to lose. They need one of Tigers or Red Sox to beat up on the other. If they play like this 500, 50-50, it's not going to work out well for them. So that's what's there for the magic numbers for the AL, as well as the losing magic number there. And then for the divisions, the Blue Jays are at 3 for the, to get the AL East. And then the first round bye, the AL East magic number is 2. So either the Blue Jays or Yankees to clinch the 1 seed would need a magic number of 2 against the Mariners, who are a game back, but both the Blue Jays and Yankees have the tiebreakers over the Mariners, so that's why the magic number is there for 2 for either team. So if the Mariners lose 2 against the Dodgers, whoever wins the division would get the 1 seed, Mariners would lock into the 2 seed, and that's that. And of course, Cleveland, right now, magic number for the AL Central is 3. They need to, do well and have the Tigers do poorly. That's what's at stake there. On the NL side, losing magic numbers, Diamondbacks is 2, Reds is 3. So if the Mets win today and the Diamondbacks lose today, the Arizona Diamondbacks would be eliminated from the postseason race there. The magic number for the Mets to clinch is 3. The Cubs to clinch the 4 seed and home field advantage against the Padres is 2. So a Cubs win and a Padres loss today would seal that. And then the Brewers' magic number to clinch the 1 seed overall in the NL is 1. So Brewers win or Phillies loss at any point in this weekend would do that for the Brewers. The only way the Phillies would get the 1 seed is if they sweep and the Brewers get swept. That's the only way the Phillies could take the 1 seed away. So it's very likely that the Brewers will be the 1 seed, Phillies would be the 2 seed, Dodgers would be the 3 seed, Cubs will be the 4 seed, and Padres will be the 5 seed. That's how it's very likely looking up right now in the NL. So the winner of that Padres-Cubs game would go on to take on the Brewers. So that's some fun stuff there. And that is what you need to know for the magic numbers. That brings us now very quickly to the playoff predictor. If the season started today, the postseason, and I mean, it does start on Tuesday, Tigers would be in the 6th seed, Guardians would be in the 3 seed. We just saw these teams face off a whole bunch. Red Sox in the 5 seed, Yankees in the 4 seed. Some great wild card matchups. Guardians beat the Tigers, Yankees beat the Red Sox, so it's Guardians at Mariners, Yankees at Blue Jays, the Mariners beat the Guardians, Yankees upset the Blue Jays, so the ALCS matchup is Yankees at Mariners, and Seattle is going all the way to the World Series. On the NL side, Mets at Dodgers, the 6 seed at the 3 seed, Padres in the 5 seed, Cubs in the 4 seed, Dodgers beat the Mets, Padres beat the Cubs, so it's Dodgers at Phillies, Padres at Brewers, and we've got a double upset. The Phillies and Brewers lose to the Dodgers and Padres, so the NLCS matchup is a battle of the NL West, little brother versus big brother. It's the San Diego Padres at the Los Angeles Dodgers. And it is the little brother, the San Diego Padres, that beat the Dodgers, head to the World Series. We've got Padres at Mariners. One of these teams would win their first World Series in their franchise's history. And it's the San Diego Padres that would be your 2025 World Series champions if the postseason started today. It's a good thing that it starts on Tuesday. We'll have 12 teams battling it out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. The last weekend of the baseball season. 8 tickets in, 4 tickets up for grabs. Cleveland, Tigers, Red Sox, Astros. One of those teams does not make it. Mets, Reds, Diamondbacks. One of those teams two of those teams do not make it. 7 teams, 4 spots. We've got 2 divisions up for grabs still. The Phillies have won the NL East. The Brewers have won the NL Central. The Dodgers have won the NL West. And the Mariners have won the AL West. Guardians and Tigers tied for the Central. Blue Jays and Yankees tied for the East. Blue Jays have the tiebreaker over the Yankees. Guardians have the tiebreaker over the Tigers. We've got 45 games left to go. We're going to have a great episode on Monday, as well as including, what the hell am I saying? Does not matter. But on Monday, we'll have the last series recap going over what happened this weekend to determine what happens going forward into the postseason. And we'll have 4 postseason matchup previews. The 4 wildcard series start on Tuesday. And we know that the Padres and Cubs will be one of them. But who else will join them? We know which teams could join them for sure. Dodgers would be one of those teams for sure. They're in a wildcard series. Could the Dodgers be out on Thursday already? Would that happen? Could the Mets, Reds, or D-backs win 2 of 3 against the Dodgers? Will they make the division series? Lots of questions, and only time will give us the answers. I appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, so much. The last weekend, go out and watch some baseball before the postseason. I got some postseason tickets. I don't know if you did. I love you all. Appreciate you all. And I will see you on Monday.